Hi, Michaela Harris here. I wanted to take just a few minutes today to show you some things that you could be doing to take your internet marketing game to the next level. My goal here is just to give you some useful information. Feel free to share it with your marketing department or use it for yourself, however you want to do it. I just want to show you some things that could help your company continue to grow. Now, while you are ranking for almost everywhere in Maryland, there is still a lot of potential for growth. And where that comes from is this right here. So you're claiming on your homepage to be the Washington, D.C. metro area's leading licensed landscaping company. However, you're not ranking for Washington, D.C. So if you want to capitalize on all the volume that's in Washington, D.C., you want to target them much like the same way you're targeting everywhere in Maryland. You want to get the content, backlinks, and citations to back that up. Now, one thing that you can do, not only in Washington, D.C. in these areas that you're not currently reaching, because I did see that you service Virginia as well. Now, with that being the case, if you are servicing all of Virginia, you need to rank for Virginia as well as Maryland. That's where your growth is going to come from. Same as you need to rank for Washington, D.C. as you do Maryland. And I did notice that when I pull up your service areas, I see that you have all of these extra pages. Now, these are great. This is what's going to help you rank for Maryland. However, you don't have any of these pages for Virginia that I could find, and you don't have any for Washington, D.C. So if you do service both of those areas and you want to be number one in there as well and be able to scale your company to a whole new level, that's where you're going to want to target, is Virginia and Washington, D.C. So do the same thing here. Get those extra pages of services and in those service areas. Target those main cities that have more than 150,000 people in them. You want to make sure you're getting 500 to 750 words of content on those back pages. And of course, putting those good targeted keywords in there. So I just want to walk you through a couple things real quick. And I hope that this information helps you. So ultimately, that's what I would do to your website, would be to target all of Virginia, those major cities, and Washington, D.C. And then, of course, your Google Business Profile. This right here is important because what you can do here is you can target this Google Business Profile towards one area, like say you target it towards Washington, D.C. And then you can also get a separate Google Business Profile for each major city that you're in. That's going to help you be able to rank in that city simply because you're going to have an address associated with that city. Now, it is possible to rank this profile. However, you're going to need to get a lot more reviews, photos, and citations, because instead of just beating out your local area, you're trying to beat out your competition within 2 different states in Washington, D.C. So having a different one of these for each major city that you serve can help you rank in those areas as well. Now, when I mentioned photos, reviews, and citations, you want your photos to be geotagged and optimized in order to help you rank in that top 3 of maps. And the top 3 of maps is important because it actually brings in a huge percentage of customers. So being on the first page of your website is not enough if you want to be number one. You want to be number one in the maps as well. So you're going to want to get more reviews, more photos, and more citations. Now, those citations, you probably already know, are just listing sites that list your name, address, and phone number. Now, when I look at your website, it is doing pretty good. You do have quite a bit of traffic coming in. However, what I can see here is that even though you're ranking number 1 for all of Maryland, if I scroll down, right here, you're only number 7 for this word. And as you leave that first position, the further down that list you go, the less of a percentage of those people are clicking on you. So the number 1 spot is where you want to be for every one of these keywords in order to maximize on the amount of volume there is. So right here, you're ranked number 9. Here, you're ranked 10. Here, you're 8. Let's see, and I can continue to go down this list. Here you go. Landscape companies in Rockville, you're ranked 12. So you're not even on the first page for a couple of these. And I can keep going. Of course, we're targeting those that are a service in a city, so we know that they're buyer intent. But as you can see here, there is a lot of potential for growth when it comes to some of your other areas in Maryland. You're not ranking in every city that you could be. Right here, Rockville, you're on the second page. Let's see, you're on the third page here. Baltimore, you're on the second page. And I can keep going. But what I want you to see here is not just in Maryland, but in Washington, D.C. So being here is going to get you a huge percentage, just like being here is. So for Washington, D.C., if you truly are the leading landscape company, I would recommend you be at the top of the list in order to maximize on all of that traffic. This guy right here, Thomas Landscapes. If you take a look at his keywords, you can see the potential for ranking in Washington, D.C. Now, if you look here, Washington, D.C. landscape, 150 searches. Landscaping in Washington, D.C., 150 searches. And I can keep going down this list. So basically, even though you are number one for a few of the cities that you service, you are still missing out on a ton of other cities that you service that also have high search volumes. So ultimately, I want you to see that there is still huge potential for growth for your business. It's just a matter of how far are you willing to go. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I would love to talk with you more about this and go a little more in depth. Otherwise, I hope that you got some useful information. If, again, any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.